My name's Yako. I'm here outside of the OpenAI offices today as part of the StopAI protest, and they're trying to sell this this promise, this vision of AI will help humanity, will save humanity, will make the world a better place. We do not need a superintelligence to make the world a better place. All we need to do is be better humans today. Start taking care of each other today. Rebuild communities. Take care of each other. Stop being so heartless. Stop being so selfish, so greedy, and stop being so afraid of these people with all this power and all this wealth who are trying to intimidate us and scare us and bore us and just make us feel soulless inside. That's all we need to do to make the world a better place. Have a humanity-powered movement today. We don't need some fancy robot or some artificial intelligence to make the world a better place.
Is that the ideology of fascism?
It fundamentally is the ideology of fascism, I think. Yeah, that we need the power consolidated in the hands of a few. That you need to step in line, and everyone needs to be afraid to not speak out, do something different, be creative, to disagree. We should have a society where we can disagree without fear. And they're trying to use this artificial superintelligence and the surveillance state to make us afraid to even disagree anymore.
I do this for a living. I mean, I don't make protest signs for a living. I wish I did. That'd be an awesome living. But I do. I'm a graphic designer and an illustrator, so this is the kind of thing I do all the time anyway, so I'm pretty fast.
And what does it mean to you, AI, as far as work, your job?
Yeah, it means that nobody's going to have a job, and we're just the first, the creatives. We're the canary in the coal mine, but everybody's going to lose their job because that's what they want. My sister was just telling me there's some AI company that said we're going to replace every job in 5 years, and I'm like, who's like, yeah, great. Let's do that. That's going to be great for society. Let's replace everybody's job, you know, and our government's so generous. I'm sure the UBI would just be over the top. So, yeah.
So what's going to stop it? Because they would argue, well, technology, you can't stop technology.
The people. The people have to stop it. We have to have everybody against it. I mean, how many people really genuinely enjoy and want AI? Most people hate it. And look at customer service, right? Every customer service now is a chat bot, and they're absolutely useless. So that's one way that corporations just lock you out from any information. They'll take your money, but they're not going to put any money into helping you. So it's just, it's just overall.
But it seems this system is based on private ownership. It's based on these people, these billionaires running things. And apparently now they directly control the government, all these tech billionaires.
Thiel,
David Sachs, Peter Thiel, they're now in charge of the government. Are you afraid of what's coming?
Absolutely. Yeah, and once you drew the line from the Trump organization to all these tech guys, oligarchs, it's like there's fascism wrapped up in a little bow. And yeah, I'm totally worried. And I think that the only thing that will overcome AI is if the people decide, no, I'm not going to use it. I don't want it. Like if I'm working with a company and I see that they've incorporated AI, and a lot of them do it just to look cool, I won't work with them anymore.
Emil Torres.
You're an author. Are you a scientist?
Philosopher. Even if one is skeptical about the truth of what he's saying, even if one thinks that OpenAI is not on the verge, as they claim, of developing superintelligent machines in the coming years, it is still extremely alarming to hear an individual who has billions of dollars running a company that is backed by tens of billions of dollars, supported by, funded by Microsoft and so on, make these claims, right? Most people, in most other situations, if somebody said, oh, I'm up to something that might kill everyone in my neighborhood, even if you think that they're a little bit nutty, that's still just a really alarming and unacceptable thing for someone to utter. So this is one reason I'm out here, but there's also, I think it's worth not losing sight of the fact that there is a multiplicity of different issues, problems associated with AI, from environmental degradation, the amount of fresh water that the data centers use up, algorithmic bias, the perpetuation and propagation of stereotypes. There is massive intellectual property theft. So on myself, I published with an academic publishing company called Routledge, which made a deal without my consent, without the consent of any of its authors, to sell the books that they publish to Microsoft so that OpenAI can train their models on my intellectual labor. right? I had no say in that. There's no consent, there's no compensation. So that's another issue that greatly concerns me. And then, of course, worker exploitation, right? So there was this article that was published in Time magazine a couple of years ago, I think it was 2023, that found that OpenAI had hired a company that was paying workers in Kenya as low as $1.32 an hour to basically sift through like material that constitutes the most extreme stuff you might ever find online. So like CSAM, descriptions of sexual assault and things of this sort. So these are individuals who are marginalized, who are disempowered, or in unfortunate circumstances getting paid almost nothing to basically get PTSD, right? And some of these individuals, their lives sort of fell apart. And there are basically just no consequences for that. OpenAI has not faced any consequences at all, neither has Sam Altman. And, in the meantime, they're, to the contrary, I mean, they're rushing to build increasingly large language models. Microsoft just bought 3 reactors at 3 Mile Island. So they understand that the amount of energy they need is enormously large, right? And in fact, Microsoft's carbon footprint, I think, has increased by something like 20% in the past few years. I think Google's has increased by something like 40-some percent since 2019. And that's entirely because of the large language models that these individuals believe are the stepping stones that are going to lead us to artificial general intelligence, AGI. And the whole reason they want AGI in the first place is to create this utterly bizarre fantasy of replacing the biological world with a new digital world. Right? Altman himself has signed up with a company called Nectome to have his brain preserved if he dies prematurely, so that it can be digitized and uploaded to the cloud. And he said in an article for the MIT Technology Review that he thinks this will be possible in his lifetime. So the whole vision here is to create these increasingly powerful AI systems, because once you have superintelligence, then you have a means for realizing this utterly strange techno-utopian vision that none of us have consented to. None of us have been, our opinions have never been solicited by these individuals. So it's another way to put it is that the future that they're working towards through the development of these advanced technologies is deeply, deeply undemocratic and not inclusive. Right? If it were democratic and inclusive, companies like this would be actually, questioning people. I'll put it differently, showing some curiosity in what it is that the rest of humanity wants out of the future. And I'll mention one last quote from Altman, who was talking about how the board of OpenAI needs to include individuals who represent people from all around the world, different cultures, different nations, different peoples, etc. Because, in his words, and I'm quoting, because if I were in on this, I'd be like, why did these fuckers get to say what my future is going to be like? Right? Those were his words. So that's why he's recognizing the undemocratic nature of the race to build AGI right now. What did OpenAI do? Well, then they went on to completely fail to represent people from all around the world. And instead their board represents very, very narrow interests, a very small portion of the human population. And so for all these reasons, it's just a deeply elitist and enormously problematic world that they're trying to create through the development of these technologies. So on the one hand, the idea of utopia, I think, is deeply flawed. On the other hand, the push, the path, the journey towards utopia is causing all sorts of harms in the present. Environmental degradation, worker exploitation, and so on. So those are my 2 big issues with the ongoing race to build AGI with OpenAI here, and that's why I came out to check out this protest. Yeah, so I published a book with Routledge last year, and then found out that Microsoft had made a deal with Routledge so that OpenAI could train their systems on my intellectual labor. So there's no compensation, there was no consent. So this harms me personally, But even just impersonally, the whole situation is just completely unacceptable because, for really all the reasons that I enumerated a moment ago.
So they have the right to take your intellectual property?
Legally, yes. Right now, yeah. So
that's a threat to all intellectuals, all artists?
Absolutely. So I think on the one hand, they're training their material on, they're training their systems on material that they haven't acquired legally. That's precisely why the New York Times has taken OpenAI to court, right? And why all of these other artists and writers are suing OpenAI. In my particular case, they're using my labor, my writing, in a legal way, right? But even if it's legal, that doesn't mean it's moral, right? So I would object from an ethical perspective and say that no, if there's a company that's going to rake in billions and billions of dollars, and Sam Altman himself is a billionaire with huge mansion in Hawaii or whatever. But yet, the reason he has all this money is because he's exploiting me. There's something like deeply unfair and unjust. So, yes, in many ways, this whole endeavor involving AI is techno-capitalism on steroids, right? So I mentioned the utopian vision. That could be understood as techno-capitalism on steroids in precisely that way.
And they control the state.
Yeah, and so ultimately in this utopian vision, it's not just about extracting and exploiting and plundering all of the resources on Earth. It doesn't stop there. No, you need to go out and colonize space. Altman himself has said, without AGI, space colonization is likely impossible, right? So he is well aware of this ultimate goal, that if we're going to go out and colonize space and plunder the cosmos and conquer the universe, right, we're going to need these super intelligent AI systems. In fact, we're probably not even going to be able to spread beyond our solar system if we aren't digital beings, or if we haven't just passed off the baton to some successor species that is digital in nature.
I've seen so many of my classmates use everything with ChatGPT. One of my classmates, he physically cannot read a book without ChatGPT summarizing every part of it. And this generation, if we do not stop AI, they're just going to get dumber and dumber. They're not going to be able to read books. They're not going to be able to do anything. They're not going to be able to do basic math. Because no, they want Big Daddy ChatGPT to do all the thinking for them. And especially with the rise of anti-intellectualism here, not only nationwide, but across the world, thanks to the Trump administration here, I feel like stopping AI is more important than ever. And not only that, fascism relies on AI. The attack on creativity, the attack on artists, it relies on AI because fascists need AI in order to create more propaganda because they know that art is inherently left-leaning. It relies on people's struggles. It relies on people whose feelings come from suffering and places of struggle. And so, we need to stop AI. It's going to destroy all of us. All the working class people, all the marginalized communities, they're going to come for us first. And then once the AI decides to cannibalize its own CEOs, what do they gain? Nothing. There is no winner if AI takes over.
He's promoting the building of all these data centers all around the world, contracts with third world countries. And he's already starting to censor the kind of material that's going to go over AI airwaves or whatever. To me, it's a very clear case of him, in a matter of time, co-opting the whole AI industry and saying, look, these data centers that we helped you to build, they're ours. And he's just going to amalgamate them with the military-industrial complex, along with the 800 or however many other military bases there are around the world. And it's being used to promote fascism. Look at the protests in front of Palantir just 3 weeks ago. We see how it's become such a horrible surveillance state. It's George Orwell's 1984, magnified 1,000-fold, So it's a nightmare. We're already in a nightmare. We know ourselves that here, we're just a little grassroots group. We know we're sticking our necks out for what's happening here, because we're being monitored. All of our conversations are being monitored. So we're all taking a big risk. You've seen me at all the pro-Palestinian demonstrations I go to, like photograph. Even there, I post stuff on my Instagram page. I know I'm sticking my neck out because they're coming after us. They're criminalizing people who are peace activists, who are trying to oppose genocide, who are pro-Palestinian. We're the bad guys, and you're the good guys. Everything's like totally upside down.
My name's Andy Lipson. I'm a school teacher in Oakland. I teach middle school science. And I found out this summer that I'm at a charter school, so it's not unionized. But I found out this summer that the teachers union basically had agreed to work with OpenAI, Anabolic, and Google to train 100,000 teachers on bringing AI into the classroom. Now, regardless of whether the union is doing that, most teachers that I know currently are collaborating with what they think is their assistant, but it's actually their replacement. They are training their replacement, and if it's not their replacement, they are training the replacement of their students, because people are leaving college now and finding there's no jobs because their job is being replaced by somebody, not just a tool that's a robot doing manual labor, but mental labor of lawyers, of teachers, of therapists is now being replaced and simulated by AI. And when they ask us to bring AI into the classroom, it's not just about training our replacement, it is also a data harvesting operation, because AI runs on the data that students and teachers feed it. So we are literally feeding the monster the tools it needs to destroy our lives. And the last thing I'll say, and this is something I mentioned at your Laborfest, Steve, that people don't talk about a lot, is not just AI as a teacher replacement or human replacement or work replacement thing, but AI as a data collection operation. AI, obviously needs data. They are collecting data on every one of us and building something, you should learn about it, it's called a digital twin. It's basically a digital simulation of who you are. Every one of us is having that be constructed right now. And that AI is going to be using your digital twin to say, here's who I think you are digitally. I'm going to nudge you or move you in this way by giving you a feed. I'll see how you behave. How do you really behave? Seeing how you really behave, comparing it to digital twin, is how the AI is going to learn more about how to help these masters control us. So what they're doing is very dangerous. They know they're taking our jobs. They know people are going to be suffering. But within that operation, they are building the control mechanism to make it harder for us to fight back, because they have all our data and they've built actual models of us. So we can still fight it. And I'm worried about superintelligence. I think there's a 20% chance that it could kill us. There's a 100% chance that the rich are going to get richer and the poor are going to get poorer. And that's the thing I know we have to fight. Last thing I'll say, and I asked that question to Jake, I've been thinking about how would we actually stop AI, because that's going to be tough. But the thing I'm looking for, if we can find it, is school teachers in my school who are refusing to use AI tools and refusing to allow Google to collect data on students. That wouldn't stop AI, but at this point, I think the operation is about stopping feeding the beast and getting people to be more aware of, like, we got to stop using these tools, because they're not tools, they're tools against us, not for us. So I'll just say that. Thank you.
Well put.
I'm just here to support what's going on with AI.
Why are you afraid of AI?
I'm not afraid of AI. I think AI sucks. AI kills a lot of people in Palestine. They collect information from us, on all of us, and they're using it to abduct a lot of the immigrants. So I think AI is evil, and they should hire humans instead of AI. These companies make profit off of AI. So I just came here to support.
I didn't come here with this agenda, but I do think that this is really crucial, and we're talking about the future, but in the very near past, Suchir Balaji, who was actually went to my high school in the South Bay, is 4 years younger than me, went to Monte Vista High School, and he worked at OpenAI. He was a whistleblower, a very young kid, bright-eyed, a scholar, and he was proclaimed dead of suicide. His parents are fighting. There's a lack of clarity around the coroner. They hired a private coroner. Anyways, they're killing their own whistleblowers. They kill people, right? They kill people. They don't have plans to kill. They have killed. That's the problem.
Sick company.
It's very sick. It's very sick. So yeah, it's important to underscore the fact that it's not just about intentions, it's also about what happened in the near past. And may Suture's memory, I think we're all here to honor that in a way, and every whistleblower and anyone who comes in with the intention of helping humanity and then sees what the reality really is. Rest in peace to Suture, and shut down OpenAI. And we need AI ethics. Like, we are blindly tumbling into this pit. So yeah, bless everybody who's here. Thank you.
Bless you.
Thank you. Yeah.
This is my second part.
I've been able to do calculations with ChatGPT. I could never have figured out my financial model without him. It's really valuable.
Yeah, what about the people that are going to lose their jobs? Millions.
They're not going to lose their jobs, bro. They're going to
They
get
already
better.
are losing their jobs.
They're losing their jobs, but they're going to get better at what they do.
They're losing their jobs.
I've lost my job.
Why do you think the actors and actresses went on strike? Why did the writers go on strike?
I know that.
What was the reason?
AI.
Yeah, so that means their industry is going to be destroyed.
Have you seen the Buccaneers on Apple? It's all AI. You tell me all that animation is not AI? CGI is just another name for AI.
So where does that leave the drivers, like who are going to lose their job? Millions of drivers.
That one's painful. That one's
What do you mean painful?
Bad. That one hurts my heart that people lose their jobs. But it's all in context. Some is good. You got to take the good with the good, the bad with the bad.
Yeah, but millions of people are going to lose their jobs.
I agree. I agree.
And what do they do?
Oh, my brother. I wish I had that solution.
Yeah, but
some is good, some is bad.
These people are making billions of dollars.
There's winners and losers, huh?
Okay, so they're making
Some
billions of
people
dollars.
win and some
But
people
there's a
lose.
way to make billions of
Too
dollars
bad
with
for the
them.
losers, huh?
There's a no. It's they're making a tool
They
for
just
everyone
take
to be able to make
shitty
billions of
jobs.
dollars.
If millions and billions of people lose their jobs, how is that a tool for helping people? Shouldn't AI and technology benefit people?
Yeah, but people can also make a lot of money using the tool. You can make a lot of.
There are billionaires who are being made. They're right here. Okay, he's a billionaire, Sam Altman. But millions of people who lose their jobs, what do? What's their future? Dying in the street? They
No
can't
one's
get
dying
health
in
care?
no street, brother. No one's
People
dying in
are
the street.
dying in the street.
I'm being evicted.
Those are drugs. Those are
not
drugs.
drugs.
I'm not on
people are dying
drugs.
in the
I'm being
streets.
evicted by an OpenAI
People are dying in the
executive.
streets. People can't get health care. The Medicaid
he has more money
millions
than I
of people are going to lose their health care.
Those are all separate conversations.
It's connected with the system.
Yeah, but
Why
I
are you
empathize
stopping
with that.
here?
I empathize with that.
If you empathize with that, what do you say about these people who really don't care about it?
They do care.
What are they doing with their billions? Are they providing for health care in San Francisco? Are they providing for education? They're closing schools in San Francisco because they're cutting the budget.
So first of all, I'm learning from you right now because I'm not from San Francisco. My only statement was that you got to take the good with the good and the bad with the bad. Okay? So if you can use it as a tool to make money, to create better products, I've been able to. I didn't say that displacing people is correct. I don't agree with it.
But that's what's happening, though. I mean, Goldman Sachs said 350 million people will lose their jobs. Where do they go? They should shorten the work week. It should benefit people.
350 million people is more than the U.S. population.
Yeah, but it's a global elimination of jobs, not just in the United States.
That's a tough one.
Well, okay, the thing is, if you're going to have a society and not a fascist world, you have to have a society that benefits the people, not just the billionaires.
Agreed. But you know what? We live in entrepreneurship. We don't live in communism. You know the difference?
Well, I mean, we're not talking about
socialism and communism? You understand the difference? 100%. But there's innovation here. And innovation means that you use that tool to do things.
Well, innovation should benefit people. If it only benefits the billionaires,
no, it benefits me. I'm not a billionaire. It benefits me. I use it. You know what? I have a dream. I put it in my notes. I teach my ChatGPT what to help me with, to remind me. It's not all bad. There is some good. There's a lot of people
What do you think about Trump?
This is not a conversation about politics.
They're supporting him.
Yeah, but that's not.
They're supporting
Trump.
Trump.
Yeah, but that's not my conversation.
But these are the people who support
That's
Trump.
not my conversation.
Well, whether it's your conversation or not, he's backing Trump.
Okay.
They're for deregulation. They don't want any regulation of this technology. You understand that?
I don't.
Well, that's what they say.
I'm learning from you.
Okay, they don't believe in regulation. That's Project 2025. They're against regulation of our society.
Okay, well, please educate me because I don't know it.
That is what they believe. They don't believe that there should be regulation. They believe that the billionaires should decide what to develop, up to them, and regardless if it hurts people, they're gonna make profit from it. That's what they're saying.
I love everybody, and I want everyone to win.
Well, it's not a question of whether you love everyone. It's a question of what's going on in our system.
My only opinion is you got to take the good with the good and the bad with the bad.
When whistleblowers die,
resistance is justified.
when whistleblowers die,
Resistance is justified.
when whistleblowers die,
Resistance is justified.
I think it's a very simple issue that if you have a group of people and they are not able to control the tools that sculpt their society, that supersede their law, these are people who, for arbitrary reasons, hold the keys to the tools that are now deciding massive swaths of what our lives look like, what our buildings are going to look like, what our jobs look like, who gets to receive medical care, who is bombed and who is not. This is not something that should be left to a select group of people who are in power with no accountability, with no reason. There is no reason that the people who control these tools should, there is no deserve about it. There is no should about it. These people, there is no good reason for them to be holding the magnitude of tool that they intend to build. And that is a simple right, that if we are affected by these tools, if they create our society and they affect our lives, then we ought to have some sort of say, some sort of system for controlling, restricting, creating what we want from these tools. If we cannot get rid of these tools, then we ought to at least be able to shape what they are doing, what we are trying to do with them. Because if we want to talk about humanitarianism, if we want to talk about the reason we should make AI is because it can solve these issues, then how do we make sure, how do we as a population ensure that we can make sure that these are the goals that are being, approached. That humanitarianism is the goal. Because it is not the goal as it currently stands. Money is the goal. Making a buck is the goal. And so if you lose value, we are weakening the schools, weakening the medical system, weakening every social service in our society. Why? Not because it helps anybody, not because it's good for us long term, but because it makes a buck. Because you can save $1 by not giving it to another member of our society. So it's not about making a prosperous future for us. It's about hoarding money, and that is it. So that is not a good reason to control these powerful tools. That's a horrible reason.
Hello, everybody. I just want to say that the surplus value that is being created with these technologies is not being redistributed to the common working man. It is being sublimated into the military-industrial complex. It's being used to butcher people, as we're seeing. I believe technology can be used for good. And unfortunately, right now there is a concentration of power and influence that is being unjustly wielded. It's being used to kill people across the world. It's being used for autonomous drones. It's being used for heuristics that are killing people in Palestine. I believe technology can unify us. I want to say shout out to the Palestine Children's Relief Fund. And I believe that technology can be used to uplift workers. It can unify us, but we need to slam on the brakes if we're facing extinction and looking at it square in the eyes. And we cannot rely on profit motive to guide our best intentions. We have to collectively unify as a species, as workers, as common people against these systems. We cannot outsource our brains and our souls and our livelihoods to systems that cannot be relied upon. Our brains are rotting. We're outsourcing our very anima, the guiding sparks behind the human soul, creativity, thinking, our ability to cogitate and think. We can't have kids that are completely dependent on ChatGPT to do anything. They can't read, they can't write. We're facing a post-literate society, and it's extremely scary. We need to bring back the examined life, separate ourselves from this way we're bifurcating ourselves from using our own sapience, our own sentience, the thing that makes us human, that elevates us beyond animals. So I just wanted to say again, shout out to Palestinian Children's Relief Fund, and let's use technology for good. Let's not use it for evil.
I have a very personal grievance against the head of growth at OpenAI. He's a young man who, with his wife, bought a mansion down the street from me, decided they didn't like it enough, so they decided to buy my apartment building and evict everybody. So I'm going to be without a home because of their greed. And so I have a real problem with OpenAI even just employing someone who's such a piece of shit. And then also, I don't see anything good about AI. My brother lost his job, my little brother, 21 plus years at a company that doesn't need him anymore because a computer can do his job, despite the fact that he's a very friendly person with good skills, human relations skills, and that's why he's succeeded at work. They don't care. They're like, oh no, we can just have a computer do that. So I'm without a house. My brother will be without a job soon. I don't know. I don't see how AI is helping in the short term at least. And if I also have AIDS, so if it cure AIDS, maybe, but I don't see me getting any of that benefit. And in the meanwhile, I'll just be living in an SRO, I guess. He can do whatever he wants because money trumps everything.